What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here on Reverb, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads, fathers, and male caregivers that's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And being part of that movement, we have now crossed the 500,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers reached since 2021. So as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And as always, we want to say thank you for stopping by. This is Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa, broadcasting on February 7th. And as I was saying to LaLa before we started live, we have a yellow warning here in Toronto for the second weekend in a row. And right now, as we're broadcasting a little bit after 5 p.m. Eastern time, it's minus, and the sun's out, minus 15 degrees Celsius, which is about 2 degrees Fahrenheit. And we have wind chills of minus 30 to minus 35 degrees Fahrenheit, which is Celsius, which is about 30 degrees Celsius below zero. I'm inside, but I was out this morning at about 7 o'clock, and whew, when I went out there, just like a slap in the face. It was not pretty. It was not pretty. It was not pretty this morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, but we're here. I came back in, was it around 12 noon? Not going out of my yard at least till tomorrow. I'm locked and loaded, especially for Primetime Saturday. And this week, LaLa is back. We have to bow to LaLa. Last week, doing it all on her own. Hola, LaLa, last week for her stupendous carrying the baton last week. So she's here. And then, crowd favorite, Dr. Tachi is in the house. She needs to unmute herself, and then she can officially be in the house.
Hello.
Okay. And it was so nice because, and for those, Aisha's having some health challenges, so have her in your prayers.
Yes.
And on our Discord, private Discord, LaLa said, see if Dr. Tachi can make it. Message Dr. Tachi last night. Plus, she was on my show, audio-wise, live yesterday. He said, so I messaged LaLa and says, Dr. Tachi can make it. One word, yay. That was her response. So that is a beautiful thing. Ladies, how are we doing?
It's been a trying week. My week has been involved with a lot of things going on in Mississippi, still dealing with my sister's case. It has officially been over 3 years with no justice. And once again, the Hinds County, Jackson, Mississippi court is playing in our face, and they pushed off the court date again.
You're kidding. With it, have they given a new date?
No.
Wow.
And the excuse is we have so many cases that we can't, we're just so far behind. Well, could it be that maybe the judge who was sworn in the same years that my sister's died is the fact that she didn't take her first case on till after 7 months? Why would you be sworn in and not try a case in your first 7 months? You want to know why you're behind. I try to keep the public updated on what's going on, because I feel that, I am not the only my family's not the only family who's going through this. Injustice is injustice. So I definitely try to keep people up to date. I do live streams about what's going on. I share what I know. I've done everything as an American citizen, as we're told to do, to contact your congressmen, your senators, your mayors, your everything, and your AGs and all that stuff. And guess what? It doesn't matter. When you have corruption
No.
from the absolute very top and you have a
Mhm.
felon running our country, how do you think that you're going to get any kind of justice on the lower level? I don't know. So the fact that
That's
I'm trying
crazy.
to deal with that, it's hard to deal with. It's hard to swallow, but yet you still pick up the sword and you still fight.
Mm.
Yeah, and I know this. So we had a chat after last week's show of an idea that LaLa wants to bring to the digital streets, and we won't give any of it away. I'm just saying, LaLa, I hope this is still something you want to do, because I'm all in to help you with it.
Very much so.
And it would be, I think it's really important. Maybe here's the title: America Injustice.
Mm.
Maybe there's a title there: America Injustice.
Very much so.
So that's crazy. Dr. Tachi, what's been going on in your world?
Just everything as usual. I am trying to be. That's all we could do these days. Just try to be. I am, as you know, I'm like recovering, so I'm like slowly getting back into the gist of things, which is why I was able to come on yesterday. And for the first time since December, I actually drove and went somewhere. So
wow,
yeah, I haven't driven. I was saying today to somebody, I haven't driven since December 21st. So I haven't left the house. So,
wow,
yeah.
So first of all, we're happy that you're in the recovery phase. Like,
Yeah.
that's how you've recovered. Has this bump in the road made you want to change any things you're going to do in the future? Okay, you're probably saying, the reason why I ask, you're one of the hardest working people I know. And
Me.
Yes, you.
Oh.
Yes, and well, LaLa too, and Aisha, but has this saying, you know what? Maybe it's time to pull back on some things in this time of reflect. Have you had any reflection during this time?
Oh, okay. Yes. So
Okay.
one thing with me, I was, I would get tired really quickly. So I would only be able to do a little bit of work. And then I'm like, well, that's too bad. The rest won't get done today. So if I don't feel like doing something, I don't do it. I work until I can't anymore, and then I stop.
Good.
So I'm like, and nobody's going to force me to do anything. And the thing is, I'm not used to being sick, and people are not used to me being sick. I'm never sick, right?
This is why, as long as I've known you, I don't think I've ever seen you sick for this period of time.
I have never been sick. Exactly.
Right.
And then back when, like, I haven't had like a cold or anything since 2019, before that. So I don't get sick generally. So when and then I was in the hospital, people are like, what's going? I was like, what is this? What the hell is this?
Right.
Yeah, I was like, I don't partake in the hospital arts. I don't get sick. What is this?
Hospital arts.
I don't partake in such. We don't speak of such things.
Hospital arts.
Yes, that's what I called it, the hospital arts. We don't do that. So, when it was something like that, it was like, yeah, and don't fret. I feel like a lot better. But it was a call to, I can't keep running on empty, and not that would have prevented whatever, but it certainly didn't help my case. When I went to fight in front of the Supreme Court, it didn't help. So
yeah, that's why I was asking if this has put you on any sort of reflection time.
Yeah, absolutely. If I don't feel like doing it, I'm not doing it. There you
But
go.
I actually have family members who work in the health industry, and they shared some things with me this weekend because they were checking on me as well, because I saw pretty much all of January I was very sick. Yesterday was actually the first time I was able to record for church service the other day, because I'm part of the worship service. And so I was able to at least finally sing, but they have told me, and many of them, it says, what you're not hearing because of this administration and because of orange shit pants and whoever he's put into to play, is we need to be wearing our masks again. These things that we are experiencing now are the aftermath of COVID. And because of COVID, and we all got vaccines and all that stuff, you tend to know that these viruses that are going around get stronger. They find a different way to attack you. So the fact that we're not being told this, but the healthcare industry knows about it, a lot of nurses and doctors are trying to speak out and tell you that we really, truly need to be back into a mask situation.
It's interesting because on this side of the world in Toronto, basically they said the flu vaccine they gave this year isn't preventing this year's virus. So what's the use of having the flu shot if it's not combating this year's virus?
Suffice it to say, it probably never. It's a prophylactic, and I'm not trying to say that because I'm not not that type of doctor. I'm not a healthcare professional. So, but so many of these things, like I see so many people that would get the flu vaccine and they still, got sick. It doesn't mean that with all these shots, it doesn't mean you won't get sick. It just cuts down on the likeliness of illness. So that's not you 100% will not get sick. So, yeah.
All right. So give me a win that you've had recently, each one of you. LaLa, what's a win you had?
I'm actually creating a lunch and learn class, and I'm starting a whole series on that. I actually gave a free tip on how to create some pretty unique graphics in Canva, and that is a free little tip I did on my personal page. But I am finishing up the course to help people learn how to create AI characters and to animate them and have them move and do what you want to do. So I'm very proud of that, and I've come a long way with that, and it's really enjoyable for me. It's a nice outlet.
Well, keep us updated when the course is ready to launch, because if I'm available, I want to attend it, because as I said, I've spent lots of hours testing different things. Get to a certain point, it's like a roadblock. So I'd like to be in on that class. Dr. Tachi, what's the win you've had lately?
Same thing. Getting my course together, I'm like just about ready to launch. I have several courses that are in lieu of what's happening with media now, which is why I suggest not just me. I'm not expecting people to have my media level, but I also am expecting you to have this level of media, because if you want to do media, you need to know what's happening, who owns who's selling to who, what projects are coming up next, what's happening in the independent space, what's happening in the traditional media space. So you need to have your ear to the ground. You can't just create in a vacuum. So that's what these courses are kind of about, teaching you how to create this type of stuff. And I'm excited because I have something for the creators on IndieSoup as well. In terms of one thing, that this is not the end all and be all getting recognized and awards and things, but it is nice to be recognized. So I'm giving something to IndieSoup creators that's along those lines in terms of how to do that. Yeah.
I love it. That's right up my alley, Dr. Tachi.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, good, because you're getting it too since you're on IndieSoup. So glad you like it.
All right. So we've got wins. So what I'm going to do is, for those who may or may not know, it's Black History Month, or others call it African Liberation Month.
I like that.
I'm going to take all of us off screen. I'm going to play a short little video about someone probably people have not heard about before. So hold on a second.
Imagine braving the Arctic's frozen wilderness, not as a famous name, but as the unsung hero behind the journey. Matthew Henson, once an orphaned cabin boy, became the indispensable navigator for Robert Peary's legendary 1909 North Pole expedition. Fluent in Inuit language and a master of survival, Henson built sledges, trained teams, and led the way across treacherous ice. While Peary claimed the headlines, it was Henson's skill and courage that made reaching the pole possible. Despite facing prejudice and being overlooked for decades, Henson's legacy now shines as a true pioneer.
Wow.
I love it.
Love Matthew Henson.
There you go. There you go. So for those who haven't heard about him, you've heard about him now. You've heard about him. And a little bit more background. So Matthew Alexander Henson, born August 8th, 1866, and died March 9th, 1955, was an African-American explorer who was accompanied by Robert Peary on seven voyages to the Arctic over a period of nearly 23 years. They spent a total of 18 years on expeditions together. He is best known for his participation in the 1908 to 1909 expedition that claimed to have reached the geographic North Pole on April 6, 1909. To promote a lecture tour, Henson later said he was the first of their party to reach the North Pole, but there's no evidence of this. And I just thought about, no wonder I did a North Pole thing today because it's so cold outside. I just thought about that. It's a little cold out there.
How appropriate.
So there's your Black History moment on the morning. No, I got the wrong show. Primetime Saturday. My brain is frozen. Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa. Wow.
Yes.
Wow, we got frozen brain today. All right, let me get into some stuff. So, Girlfriends Chat with Aisha, LaLa, Jill Jones at Patreon. That's on Patreon. There's Substack. We're waiting for the YouTube address and the YouTube launch, but you can go catch them out. Old content there. There is the link for the Primetime Saturday Show store. Always join the Discord group. Email me at dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com or hit that Discord link. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show and hit the notification button. And like the Dr. Vibe Show on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and Substack. And to advertise your business product or service on the platforms I'm a part of, email me dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And now it's Dr. Tachi's turn. IndieSoup TV. Sorry.
Oh, you want me to do it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, IndieSoup Media is an independent network for independent content creators. We are on YouTube and Twitch and also Facebook, but YouTube is our main channel. Please subscribe. If you're not subscribed, I don't understand why, because we have such great content and independent media is the way to go now. I, for one, do not necessarily trust legacy corporate media anymore. And so definitely shows like this, networks like mine with the many shows is definitely where you should be watching for your information and entertainment. So check us out at indiesoupmedia.tv and also IndieSoup Media on all the platforms I mentioned.
Well done, Dr. Tachi. I didn't have to add anything else except the 28,000 subscribers.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That too.
Which puts her YouTube channel in the top 4 when it comes to subscriber count on YouTube. You know what? Actually, you know what? I want to do this. I just want to do this because of that great accomplishment. We've got to do this.
Thank you.
I love it.
Thank you.
I used to have a machine that did that. I've got to go digging for that.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to take us off screen and then I'm going to play something. And then I may get up and leave. I don't know. So I'm going to take us off screen for a second and play a little thing.
A shocking AI-generated video appeared on Truth Social, showing Barack and Michelle Obama as apes, with Trump as a lion, and The Lion Sleeps Tonight playing. The post was deleted after bipartisan outrage, with even Republican Senator Tim Scott calling it the most racist thing he'd seen from this White House. The White House downplayed the incident as a meme gone wrong, blaming a staffer and claiming Trump never saw the offensive ending. But Trump refused to apologize, insisting he made no mistake and only watched the beginning. What do you think? Should leaders be held accountable for what's shared on their platforms? Join the conversation below.
Ladies. Oh, actually, you know what? Okay, I'll come back to it later. Ladies, where do you want to start on this?
Let LaLa start.
Disgusting.
Okay.
It's absolutely disgusting. And I purposely asked Dr. Vibe not to repost the photo and that was put on Truth Social, because I think the more that we post it, the more disgusting and more accepted that it is. People tend to accept things when they see them. So I purposely asked that not be put on our show, because I respect President Obama and Michelle Obama. This isn't a meme that has gone wrong. This is one of the oldest racist tropes in all existence of the United States of America, and not just United States of America. Listen, this has been something that has been portrayed about our community from the beginning of time, not just America, but we're definitely going to talk about America. Anyone pretending that this was an accidental thing is completely lying to your face, and they're lying to your face with confidence. Deleting a post is PR. It's not accountability. And we all know that Orange Shit Pants has no accountability for anything that he ever does, because people allow him to get away with everything that he has done. That's what still boggles my mind. At what point are people going to say this is enough? Now, an apology would require that him saying that he has admitting to some kind of harm. We all know that he's never ever in his whole life, and will never, until that man is out of this realm, admit that he's ever been wrong. And refusing to apologize says the harm was accepted. He accepted this, and it was an intentional. And at first he literally said that it was someone on his staff that did this, and then he turned around and said, no, it was me. So silence is not neutral. Even if he didn't say anything, it is showing a stance. And if you don't stand up against this racism, you are just as guilty of what he has done. Now let's look at a little bit of the history. Get a life, you libtards. Motherfucker, we helped build this country. Do you understand that? White Americans have done nothing to build this country except steal, maim, lie, and claim it was all them that did something. So I don't have time for that. And I'm ready for you trolls today, because let me tell you the history about this type of thing. This imagery is actually violent and not figurative. So comparing Black people to animals has been used to justify enslavement, lynching, exclusion, systematic abuse. We're supposed to be so different that even our bodies are different, so that people would take us and look at it, and still did it according to the Epstein file, still doing it today, seeing why we are so fabulous and they are not. So this context doesn't just disappear because the internet has now filters and hashtags, okay? If you know anything about history, you know that the intent is obvious and done on purpose. And if you don't know about the history, you shouldn't be speaking on it. How you don't know about it, I don't know. But President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama were the targets. And if you notice, because I'm going to tie in something interesting that not very many people are talking about right now. If you've noticed that he put Michelle Obama in the forefront. Why? Well, let's see. His hoe of a wife didn't do so well at the movies. Matter of fact, people had to pay to go see her garbage. However, Michelle Obama, in all of her beautiful Black excellence, not only excelled, and all of us stood behind her and made her Netflix thing so big that it broke new records. This man cannot stand anything that the Obamas do, and he wishes he could be a thimble as good as those people are. Man even talks about how he can't get in heaven. No, you're not gonna get in heaven. You know that. All of a sudden you're contemplating your morality. You have no morals. The fact that this is still happening in 2026 is disgusting. It's not acceptable. And those who don't speak out about it, you are just as guilty, and you have no right to call yourself an American citizen. You are no patriot, and there is nothing good about you. So if you agree with this, go ahead and agree with this. We see exactly where you are. May you burn in the hell that you created. This is disgusting. Being Black doesn't make you immune. No, but even when you got people like Tim Scott, who came out and said that this is the most racist thing that the White House has done, but still yet you still Black MAGA, we got problems, America. We got problems. Funny how racism is always not that serious when it's not aimed at people who are excusing it, period. And that's what I got to say about that. All that came from him being jealous that his whole wife, who's also an immigrant and had anchor babies, didn't get the attention that she need. How disgusting you are. Done.
I was wondering you're going to go for your a glass of whatever you're having. Right. Before I let Dr. Tachi come in, I got to catch up on some comments because we had some at the beginning. Jen Myers, what is up? Hello, Jen Myers, fan number 1 of the show. Good to see you. Yeah. Joan Balcom says good evening. Good
Hello,
Soror. Jen said, yes, the virus I've had all week is the absolute worst. Another person says the flu mutates, so shots create specific antibodies for each flu virus. Someone else says, if there's no apology, there should be an impeachment.
It'll never go through.
And someone says, I'm effing floored. Another person here, if we're going to talk about 47 and accountability, let's start in other areas because, yes, that video is disgusting, but it's not even the worst of his actions.
Of course not. But there's nothing about him that is good.
So, okay, I'm going to hold there. There's 1 or 2 questions, but I just want to stop it there. Dr. Tachi, come on in.
Hold on. Let me get something to drink first.
Oh my.
This is the best you can do. Next.
Oh my.
This is all you can come up with, P-Brain. This is it? Oh, we're so hurt. How old is this trope now? And this is the best you could do. A poor AI generated facsimile of lie.
Lie upon lie.
So let me tell you what Black people are like. We're like, oh yeah, okay. Because you know who is more outraged? It is people that are allied. It is Republicans, surprisingly, but not for the right reason, because they know something like this has basically, and there were a lot of people that this has lost them the next election. Although, like somebody else said, and it wasn't the other 50 million actions that he took, because this is reprehensible, but it's an old trope and we've seen it. I think the thing that is interesting is that it's coming from someone that's an occupant of the White House that toward somebody who was a president. That as before, there used to be a line and there used to be morality. And well, that's what happens when you have someone with no scruples or morals and somebody intent on making Hades their permanent address. So I don't know what else to say or what to tell you, but the reason we're here and the reason we got to this point was because everything else that was done was made acceptable in their sight. He has been, listen, forget about the presidency. Let's go back to when he was in New York.
Amen.
Native. And the reprehensible things that both he and his family participated in. People just kind of, oh, well, that's just him. And that's why we got to this point now. People keep underestimating the fact that the messages will get through to people and they don't take it seriously. There is Kool-Aid for everybody who wants to drink it. And there are an awful lot of people, even though there are more of us on the side of right than there are of them, there are enough people who want to drink the Kool-Aid and will fight to drink that Kool-Aid. So that's where the problem is. I also think, like LaLa said, I was not going to share the image or the video or any of that, because it just gives it more of a platform, but also it speaks to where there should have been no news platforms or whatever that shared this or put what was the purpose in sharing it. It just puts it out there. So what I was happy to see was the Obama Foundation putting out a beautiful video of him and Michelle, and people sharing that and other things. So the thing is that's why we're like, oh, please, whatever. Because what we do, just like we did with Malaria's video, Malaria's home video, because that was that whatever that home video was on a Fisher Price camera. What we did is we countered by watching Becoming. And so that's what has happened. Rather than sit, because you can sit there and because look how many times they're, oh no, I didn't do anything. Oh no, that was a staffer. That's you. You are the staffer. Oh well, I didn't watch the whole thing. I just saw the first part of it, and then I posted it. Okay, now let's stop with the lie. We already know, the American people already know that you are a liar. And see, this is another thing. We have to call it what it is. We keep saying, oh, they keep telling lies. So what is a person that tells lies? A liar. And it's part of their makeup. And because you've shown this now, that when you continue to lie, it is part of your makeup. Therefore, you are a liar. And when you don't we have separated the action of lying from who they are as people. And no, this is who they are as people. They are liars. Liars, liars. So we have to let people know, we call it what it is. They're liars. In addition to a whole bunch of other things, they also lie. And it's interesting because one of the biz chicks, her grandmother, she loves to quote her grandmother. And her grandma said, she always says, my grandmother always says, if you lie, you'll steal. And if you steal, you'll kill.
Yes. Yes.
So we've seen that. So my final thing with this is nothing new. This has been a trope that has been thrown at people of the Most High, at God's people for the longest time. God's children, because that's exactly who we are. We are kings and queens. We are doctors, lawyers, engineers. We are mothers, sisters, brothers, fathers. We are everything. And I will say that. And that is not to discount anybody else's contributions, but we have contributed a lot. We are the blueprint when it comes to so many things. So you think that you posting this 5 and dime meme is going to lessen our greatness? No, it only shows how jealous you are that you could never amount to what so many people in this country amount to. And that's what you again, it was the jealousy over Michelle Obama's documentary, which by the way came out in 2020. And it is rare for a documentary to be watched again, because generally people come out and they watch it when it drops, when it's released. And then you may see, in fact, I think there was a 13,000% increase of people watching Michelle Obama's documentary Becoming from the week before. Was 47.5 on this past weekend, 47.5 million views on Netflix. Juxtaposed against, I think it was like 300 something thousand people who had watched it the week before. Mm-hmm. So it goes to show that we stand behind our forever first lady, our forever president. We stand behind them. But not only do we stand behind them, it shows that we can pull together for a cause. And I think that was even the more scary thing for them. The fact that people will, whatever, we'll show you, we're watching Becoming. The fact that we realize something is wrong and we will pull together from every walk of life to make it. And it's a small act, but it's an act. So I think this shows that we can pull together, but it also shows that every action counts, that it doesn't have to be you going out into the street and marching. It can also be things like this. It can be economic. So I think the scary part is not just is the ego of how dare you beat us, but it's also the fact that these people have the power to come together and do something great.
Okay. All right. If you're not familiar with the internet, when you talk about subjects like this, there's various types of people that come into our comment section. So
Yes.
yes, I'm select. There's a few of the comments I will share with our good friends here. I want them to focus on what they're saying, and I'm handling the chat board. So there is a question. Well, I'm going to put this up. I'm not going to say all of it. It is also blank that there's been no outrage over his racism until this video by his own party, because they're all racist. Next
Yes.
Yes.
Someone asked here, are you also outraged when liberals call 47 an orange orangutan? Or
Not at all.
Outrage only
Nope.
collective?
Not at all.
Well, excuse me, I call him orange shit pants. So there you go.
If you're gonna quote, say it right.
I'm just saying.
Not at all. And in fact, there's something that I saw the other day, and I said, "Ooh, I'm going to start to use this." He called the followers of this person Trumpanzees. I said, I like that.
Oh,
I didn't hear
like
that. I didn't hear that.
Oh, that gives
said,
me
oh.
joy. That gives me joy.
It does. It does. And the thing is, what happens is people expect, usually it's people on the side of right that are trying to do the right thing, that they always expect to stay silent, always expect to do the right thing and turn the other cheek and we shall overcome and not do anything. But the moment at some point, people have had enough. So the moment you fight back and do things, would you say the same thing? Sure would.
Sure would. That's the difference between us and them. It doesn't matter who you are. If you are wrong, you are wrong. Now, listen, I grew up in a household where my mother always told me, I will always love you. But baby girl, if you go do something wrong, I'm not going to stand by and protect you for something that you need to be called accountable for. I will still love you. I will still stand beside you. But you got to serve, or you got to do your penance for what you have done. That's the difference of us and others. And most of these people who are making the comments, sweetie, don't you understand? We already know who you are, because we know we are a different breed. We are the chosen ones. Anything that you can accept of any evil, to fix your mouth to say, you must remember the old adage. My mother taught me this too. A hit dog will always holler. So if you really think that anything that you have said to me or called me out on is really affecting my sleep, no, baby, I will always stand on the side of right. And you're just as bad as your leader. But then again, you do love that orange Kool-Aid. So go ahead and drink it, because we all know what happened to those who drank the Kool-Aid on the island. Go ahead and do us a favor.
And this is the thing that gets me too, that so many people have tried to, there have been a lot of excuses made for people that are his supporters. I mean, and I can understand and hear it, but I'm not excusing it. And so there have been a lot of excuses for there are a lot of people that are scared of the browning of America. There are so many people that are losing jobs and they're lashing out at whatever. Okay, and so nobody else has problems? This is the thing. So there's always been a deference to all these individuals who are in support, and they're like, oh, okay, they just had a bad day. If somebody's yelling like, oh, I'm gonna call, immigration on you or whatever, and this person just had a bad day. I didn't have a bad day. Why is your bad day more important than mine? And that's what the framing of the conversation has been, that the supporters over there are more important than everybody else. And that's where we're like, no, you're absolutely not. So am I going to call you out by names? Absolutely, because we're tired of always, let's take the the high road. You always expect us to take the Christian high road, but you want to take it straight to hell. We could take it to hell too now.
There you go. They don't like
No
that.
problem.
They want us to be in our place. They want us back on the plantation so that we can say nothing, do nothing, and be back under their thumb. They don't like it when intelligent people outthink them because they are so limited in their thinking. And the first thing is, please tell me something that you've created for real, on like for real, your level, because everything that you claim has been taken and stolen from others.
And here's the thing. I'm not even expecting people to create things or do. That's fine. You don't have to. Maybe that is not your strong suit. That is not your forte. That is not your ministry. It's okay. But what is not okay is to take credit for things and then discredit the people who have created. It's really interesting the way that people seek to divide and conquer. And I'm talking on a general level, everybody. And it's even more interesting how people let themselves be divided and conquered. This is the thing. We have to start to use critical thinking skills, and we do not. I've never seen, and sorry to say, or am I sorry to say? No, I'm not sorry to say. Our critical thinking skills have been eroded. Not only do we not have civics in schools anymore, so nobody knows how the hell the government works because you're not learning it in school, but we also don't have emotional intelligence and we don't have critical thinking skills. So when it comes to thinking, and I'm saying this as a professor, where sometimes I'm like, girl, what? When they say things to me, what? Because you haven't had or been given the tools to think these things out. I know that there's a certain amount of privilege I have when it comes to these things because I have been taught critical thinking skills. Because not only did I grow up in a Nigerian household where they're not going to tell you things. So Dr. Vibe, you can attest to this with Caribbean household. My mother's favorite thing was if I asked where to put something, put it on my head. That was her favorite thing to say. In terms of, which really means you need to figure out yourself where it goes. You're a member of this household. Look and see where it goes. But we're looking for other people to think for us. And that does not work in this day and age. So part of the thing is we need to get back to some critical thinking skills. If people are seeking to divide and conquer, are you going to allow yourself to be divided and conquered? And you're right. Yeah. And in terms of apologizing, I'm not expecting any types of apology.
No.
He doesn't apologize for anything. This is his MO. This has gone back to his days in New York. Nothing. They don't apologize for anything. So I'm not expecting you. Guess what? If you don't expect things, you will not be disappointed.
And I shall not be disappointed. Not at all.
I'm not disappointed at all.
Do I have permission to interrupt? Because I need to catch up for some comments. And both of you, I think I want you to take a little bit of break and sip whatever liquid you've been drinking. So, okay. So, Seth says 13,000%. Another viewer says, at what point will people stop praising him as if he is God himself?
That's
Daniel
my niece,
4:37.
Deja. That's how you pronounce her name, Deja.
Another person says, hilarious. Now, this person says, Dems can't take a joke.
Yeah, okay.
Another person says here, ICE and 47 administrative basically are targeting anyone of color for deportation. The agenda is reducing the numbers of any black and brown people in America. And feel free if you want to interject at any time out when I'm reading this stuff.
And the thing is, you think you can deport your way out of the browning of America. Do you know how it's impossible? It is impossible. And that's why I'm sitting here laughing like, all right, go with God because it's not going to happen.
Okay. All right. Let's continue on with comments here. Oh, Dirk says, hello from Germany. Hello from Germany.
Hello, Dirk.
Hi, Dirk.
How are you?
One of my good friends from Periscope days.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right. Another person says, there are no good things about 47. Disgusting excuse for a human.
Yeah.
I have to agree.
Now, you mentioned that documentary movie. Someone's asking, what's
Home
wrong
video.
with the documentary video?
Home video.
Yeah, who people who got paid for. And if you look at the posters, guys, look, do you see how beautiful and warming Michelle Obama's documentary is? And you look at, I'm gonna try not to call her what she is, but if you look at it, it's so sterile and so blah. They have no creative, no color. How indicative is that of them? That was the perfect poster for her.
If I may, so
Yeah.
because I'm also a filmmaker, and so and I have not seen the documentary, so I am not going to talk about the aspects of the film. I did see the trailer though. Usually with trailers, they pick the best parts to show you, which makes you want to see it. If there are no best parts, it's difficult to make a trailer that's compelling. That's one thing. Number two, here's the thing. People like documentaries and movies about interesting places, people, things, subjects, historical figures. People connected with Becoming because Michelle Obama is personable.
Yes.
She showed it wasn't just about her even though it was about her becoming, it was about the ecosphere of what made her become. And so you got to see a lot of different things, her daughters, etc. This just doesn't seem to have the same flavor. And she's also not a likable person. People don't know her. She's not out there in the forefront making herself likable. She has.
Maybe she don't even like her husband.
Well, exactly. And I'm sure he doesn't like her either. So I'm just saying, so we're dealing with unlikable people, which does not make for a good documentary. Let's just say, forget about that. It's them. People want interesting subjects. And if you're going to have a documentary about a person or a subject, they ought to be likable, somebody that the audience can identify with, somebody that the audience is interested in the story there. I just don't see that here. So
I won't even watch the trailer, so I bow down to you, Dr. Tachi.
Again, because I report and I'm a journalist. I'm like, okay, let me at least watch the trailer. Because I know I'm not going to see this movie. I'm not giving a dime toward the cause, but I do want to see what the trailer is like. Now, again, a trailer is not the entire movie. However, you can often tell what the best parts of a film are by watching the trailer. I was not compelled, which led me to believe this is probably the way. If these are the best parts that you cut together, I shudder to see what the rest of the documentary looks like. But there were journalists who did go to see it. Okay, I'll leave it at that because I watched Becoming.
Okay. There's so many comments, so let me get back. Okay, so Han says, haha, malaria.
Did I say that out loud? Yes.
I love
Garrett
it.
says, thanks for streaming. Another person here says, the 47s and the MAGAs are all garbage. Another person here says, though we have 3 more years left and a lot of damage could be done, let's drink to this being his last time being able to run if he doesn't start a war. That's a whole other conversation.
Oh, he's working hard at that. But let me interject one thing that I can say about this, and I truly believe this. I don't think that man is going to make it another year. I think he'll be moving into another realm. We know that. We see that. I tend to have pretty good premonitions. I don't think that man is going to make it to the end of this year.
Don't dream about me, okay?
Oh my gosh. Okay, another comment here. If you watch the entire video, he makes fun of everybody, including himself. Okay.
Well, whatever.
Okay.
Another person says, amazing. It's probably for the same people who slaved us and destroyed our family and destroyed our lives. I don't understand what that means. I have no idea where that's coming from. Sorry. Please, if you're going to make a comment, please Another person says, keep MAGA away from kids in the Constitution. Another person
You
says,
got that right.
agreed. Other says, another person, Obama's are pure class, and LaLa's favorite word is white trash. I think that may be the new.
How like I said.
Okay.
Jealousy is just this. There's a lot there, but the envy is really, it's one thing to be envious and to say, you know what, I wish that was me, but let me work on that being me. It's another thing to be envious and know that could never be you, and that is problematic for him.
Yes.
Another comment here, all the racists thought it was a funny video, everyone else thought it was disgusting. Another comment here, it seems funny that the people who call everybody racist are the most racist people in the world. I don't agree with that.
Oh, well, baby, that's nothing but
that's deflection.
He's not going to get that from us. We know that.
Another person here says America was never great. History proves this. Interesting. Another person here says, another person here says, let them show their hand. Another person here says, kindness is the highest level of wisdom.
You are right. But at some point, when people take kindness for weakness, there's a joke that Steve Harvey did. Remember back when he was on the Kings of Comedy tour, and he had this joke. He was wearing this banana yellow zoot suit, and he had this joke where he was like, people always want, people like Christians to turn the other cheek, and he went. Pfft. He said, I may turn the other cheek, but when I come back around, my hand is going to be open. That's what happens. That's what happens. Eventually, you keep turning the cheek and you swirl around and that hand is coming, or it's a fist. At some point, it becomes too much. But I do agree. Kindness is a high form of wisdom.
Okay. Another person says, God won't let us bend or break to their level. Okay.
But he's testing our faith as well, because I'm gonna tell you, sometimes we got to stand firm and check ourselves as well. Listen, we cannot allow the same type of hatred and energy that they direct toward us be the same level that we throw back. We have to be able to stand firm, still be witty about it, still be cute about it, because we always are, but put the proper type of energy that is behind it to make the change. Otherwise, you are just tinkling cymbals.
Yeah, that the level of anger this is the thing. There's so much anger on that side. Whereas, the thing is, please stop giving yourself such accolades, because we really don't give a damn about you. That's the thing. We don't give a damn. We may be annoyed and we may be slightly angry, but the level of anger that many of them have, we don't have. So, and I think it also gets to them that we don't give a damn.
Right.
And
that burns their ass.
They can't stand
that burns their ass.
You can't stand that you don't feel, live in my head run free. I have too many other things to worry about than you, small one. Be gone.
Okay, let's see if I can catch back on some more comments. And so that's my big challenge for the day, keeping up with comments. All right, let's see if we can. Okay, we're not doing too bad. Okay, we got that one done. All right. Let them show their hand. Okay, this, and that one's done. Wow, there's so many. You ladies are flying. Oh,
Gene's here too.
47 is a convicted felon trying to avoid prison and distracting from 38,000 mentions of his name in the Epstein file. Yes. Happy Black History Month.
Hello, Lois.
I'm not going to read this, but I'm going to put this up. Someone's fairly strong. I'm not going to say some of the words in there because you two could probably pull us some of the words there. So I'm just going to put that up on the screen. Another person says, listen, 47 said he was going to make America great again, but he meant for white people.
Can I add to this? Not even just non-melanated people, rich non-melanated.
There you go.
And this is what you all that are supporters don't get. He doesn't give two damns about you. It's not about you. He only cares about himself. Let's even be clear about that. Because all those other tech bros and tech millionaires are scrambling, yes, sir, scrambling behind him because they're trying to make sure they stay in his good graces. So he really only cares about himself, but secondarily, he only cares about rich, non-melanated people. So please don't get it twisted. This has not made your lives better, I guarantee.
Okay. Let me come back to this. I'm not going to repeat this, but it's on screen. Someone says, please, USA, sort out your blank.
We need to, yes. We need to.
Again, I'll put this up on the screen. I'm not going to read it. So there, that was interesting. Okay. Han says, the only interesting thing about, man, I'm not going to say the word because you ladies are on it today.
I'll say it, malaria.
Okay, is the information the blank can provide about the files. She's like watching paint dry.
Well, baby, she's all through those files as well. This is how she ended up being over in America. She aligned herself with the devil, and therefore she's a part of this whole evil plan. Let's understand something about the Epstein files. I need to interject this right here because all of this is completely based upon trying to be a deflection of what's going on. And they've even come out and said, he said he will not be prosecuting, they will not be moving forward. Well, of course, it's going to be hard to prosecute yourself. Let's understand the fact that, unfortunately, many of us knew that this was going to be atrocious. The things that we found out, we knew were going to be bad. What I think we underestimated about these Epstein files is just how deep these roots go. These roots are based in the depths of hell. They have no regard for life. They have no regard for anyone other than power and greed and money. And you see, when you put yourself in those type of situations, that's who you surround yourself with. Let's be very honest about what Epstein and Ghislaine were. They were master manipulators. The things that you guys are forgetting about is you might see Obama's name in the Epstein file. You might see Clinton's name in the Epstein file, but that doesn't mean much of anything. Do you understand what Epstein did? He was a smart man in the fact that he made sure that he put his money exactly where he wanted it for the power that he needed in order to turn around and be able to put people in precarious situations. Yes, he even donated to the Obama presidential election. Okay. This man is so on a different level that y'all cannot comprehend just how deep this evil is. It runs through not just America, but it runs in through an underworld, worldwide evil plan that is now showing and manifesting for people to not even believe in. So you need to open your eyes because, baby, this is bigger than you can even imagine. And you're not ready for what these files completely explain and show. You need to be real serious about it. You want to see the Jeff Epstein files. You need to be very serious about what you're opening on your computer and calling yourself being sleuths behind your keyboards. Because once you open those corruption files, those nastiness of what they've done, you now have become an accomplice and open the door for them to come and grab you as well. This is deeper than you know, and we are not even scratching the surface of how evil this man was.
You know, it's absolutely despicable because even though I'm not surprised, nothing really surprises me at all. Not even this type of thing, but for it to be so wide and deep is the interesting thing. Because it's like I will not, I'm relying actually on people who are journalists who are going through these files to actually report on these things, because I don't want to get caught up in the things. Because again, if you doubt, for example, there was purpose in them, not redacting some of the victims and some of the pictures, purposeful. Because if you downloaded it, for example, to your computer, you can then have been said to have child pornography on your machine, which is illegal. So there are all sorts of tricks that are being used, and everyone just has to be careful. As LaLa said, this is very deep and despicable and troubling. And here's the thing: most sane people agree, regardless of party affiliation. Most sane people agree that this is something despicable. So anybody trying to make excuses for that, that shows me the level of demonic, what did I call it yesterday? Demonica, okay, that you have. That is my new word. That shows me your level of demonica. So it's, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Let's continue on. Well, look who's in the house. J.R. Houston Jack from IndieSoup Media is in the house. Good to have you here. She also says, WT foolishness. I didn't watch the video and will not give that ignorance any space. Okay. There she goes. Also, she says the envy is real, but it's clear he's highly concerned about the midterms.
Otherwise, they wouldn't be scrambling to try and explain and have taken it down.
Oh, but the damage has been done, but that's always been his MO. That's one thing that he has never been afraid to do, is to throw something out there and let everybody else take the hit.
A lot of people say he puts things out to the extreme and sees how much he can get away with it, then he'll pull back.
And the problem is we allow him to.
Yeah.
Because it's never enough.
Okay.
Yes.
Another person says, God said 47 will die and that the powers that be, and the so-called stars will fall both black and white. I don't know what that means, but another person says the Obamas have more class and dignity in between their toes than the entire pedo 47 family tree put together. Oh my goodness. J.R. Houston Jack says, I'm annoyed, but not distracted or bothered.
That's right.
Another person says, I'm an old white Republican and I thought the Obama post was disgusting and wrong. Another person saying here, it's pure jealousy. Another person say, distraction to put the Epstein fire, that is proving 47 was more involved in the relationship with Epstein than he wants us to believe. Truth is not 47's friend. Another one here. I'm melanin deficient, and it definitely ain't great for me either. Ha ha ha. The rich only.
I mean, this is what I don't get. I'm like, and this is no disrespect to anybody who does live in a trailer, but I'm like, you live in a trailer. Has over the past, and let's go back to 2016. Has it gotten better for you? Still live in the trailer. You haven't become a millionaire yet. How is this working for you? So I can never understand, and not even in just this case, but whenever there are politicians who are not doing what they're supposed to do, and you still have supporters, but you are still in the same terrible, precarious, you may get $43 more a year. Congratulations. That's what I'm talking about, the lack of critical thinking skills, that somehow you equate the fact of your proximity to wealth by voting for this individual who's wealthy will also give you wealth. That's not the way math works, mon frere.
Okay. Something that was covered last week, wonderfully by LaLa. Didn't he mention he wanted house prices to go up?
Yeah.
Affordable housing.
We had a deep conversation about that. Y'all need to go back and watch the
if you check
replay.
out last week's show, the last topic that LaLa talked about was that whole issue, and that is LaLa's wheelhouse, because she's been an international real estate agent for a number of years. So do you want to give high level on that, LaLa? Do you want to move on?
Oh no, we've already talked about that.
Okay, good stuff. Another person saying a video is a distraction from the pedophilia scandal.
Yeah.
Said, yeah, absolutely, it's hitting too close to home for me. Another person saying, love the conversation. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Donald Walton.
There you go. J.R. Houston Jack says, say that evil that we're not prepared for. Another person here saying, okay, let's see if it's going to click here. Oh my gosh. Oh boy. This is
I didn't
just
see that one. I can't see.
all
Oh,
right. Let's
okay.
see if there's anything
I'm not
else
mad
that
at
I
that
want
one
to put
either.
up here. No, I think we, yeah. Yes, J.R. Houston Jack. Yes. You need to watch the replay of last week. Exactly. All right, ladies. Anything else about this video or this post that you want to say before we move forward?
Can I? Sorry, go ahead,
Oh,
LaLa.
no, I wasn't. I was done. Go right ahead.
We need to stop being distracted. We are like kids who are like, oh, look, a puppy. Anytime a puppy, oh, cotton candy, we get distracted. And that's human nature, that all it takes is for something else to drop. I gave this as an example to my students when I used to teach public speaking. I would say, you have to be compelling in your speech, because all it takes is for something to drop in the hall and everybody's like this, right? So and it's not that the message is not compelling. We're too used to being distracted by puppies. Forget the puppies. Stop being distracted. So when it comes to this is pure distraction, because this is not any new thing. It's a continued stupid trope that recycles itself over and over. And again, Black people are just like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
whatever. So let's stop being distracted, because there are real issues that we need to focus our energy on.
Jerry Houston Jock says, yeah, they're testing the waters, but it does distract from them openly discussing how to steal the next round of elections.
Oh, that's in the works, baby. Everything that he can possibly do is geared toward that.
Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
what was the name of the person from the cabinet was down in Alabama? What was her name in regards to taking all the votes?
Gabbard? Tulsi Gabbard?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
In that post, doing that a domestic issue. Something's going on there. He's
already said today. He said it out loud and proud that states should no longer be the ones who are handling the voting. It should be a national situation. So when have we known that he's never thrown out something that he said that he doesn't follow up on? That is the next move, loves. That is,
you can't run the country. Why are you trying to give yourselves more to do? Listen, I understand why they're doing this, but this is what I'm talking about, critical thinking skills. The government runs at 0% efficiency right now, and now you want to give yourselves more to do. Congratulations on winning Fools of the Year.
You know what? I think
the trolls are here today, are they not?
I'm telling you. Hey, you know what? Trolls have a place too, baby. Listen, first of all, to be keyboard cowards, we really love that you continue to talk to us, because you know what? They don't do nothing but help us.
Absolutely. You're helping the algorithm point people towards us. Congratulations. You see what I'm thinking about, critical thinking skills? Because somebody who was critically thinking, who did not agree with having this conversation, would move on. But apparently you're either jobless, hopeless, or just a waste of skin, and you choose to come in here. It only helps. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. And I think this is one of the times being a producer and a host is entertaining. Oh, here's another conversation piece.
Yeah.
Given the Supreme Court's protections, can we seriously consider impeaching 47?
We still don't have the power. I love how people throw the term around impeachment so many times when you don't understand how our government works. Yes, I would love that to happen, but we are still not in the position when there are so many people in positions of power in the Congress, in the Senate, that are still MAGA, that still support this man. You can throw impeachment out 57,000 times. It will never pass until people have decided they've had enough on both sides of the aisle.
And may I also say that even for those that are not magic, maggots, whatever they are, on the other side of the aisle, they will vote with them every time, because if you remember, the GOP is party above republic every time. And if one thing they do, they'll
And do
stick
well.
together. They will vote, even if it's something they vehemently are against, they will still vote on it together. It's only very recently that we've started to see some dissent, but for the most part, they will still vote for it together. So yeah, the power is definitely not there because we don't have the numbers. They are the majority, and even the ones, it is like pulling teeth to get the other side to vote on something that is clearly the right thing to do, because they're trying to keep the party together.
And then you have people like Susan Collins, who is worthless, who literally stood in his office this week and held a MAGA hat. As long as you have people like her, there'll be no impeachment.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So someone says here, please note this black versus white thing has to stop. Us white women hate is corrupt Nazi regime too.
Yeah, you know what?
Do something about it, sister girl, because as I recall, most of you white folks still stood in line because you was afraid of your husbands. You're either going to take a stand or you can sit down because you're not helping the movement.
And here's the thing. This is what we're seeing now is really, in a long time, the first time that we have seen non-melanated people get together and fight. When we're seeing in the streets in Minnesota, etc., this is the first time that we're seeing this in a very long time, because it is now affecting you. This has been happening to different groups. Let's talk about Black people. If we're talking about Black people, we've been saying, look, this is the case. And at some point, especially those of us that were in the 92% that voted for this not to happen, we're tired. And so it's like, all right, it is not our time to fight. So really, this right now is actually your time to fight. So and again, fighting doesn't mean going out into the streets all the time. It's economically. Who am I not going to support? Because by you spending dollars with certain companies, certain organizations, you are supporting this. So we all have to be careful of this. So nobody's saying, okay, go out into the streets and do. We're saying we're not going out into the streets because we've done enough of that. However, your way of doing this may be, let's support organizations who are anti this. Let's make sure we pull back from supporting organizations where the money is going to fund this directly, right? It could be lots of different things. So see how, again, doesn't have to be out in the streets marching, but see how you can support this. If you say you are against this, say to yourself, well, what am I doing to fight this then?
Exactly.
Okay, I think it's time for a little bit of a break. So we are
okay.
Well, you need to take another sip at least.
Yes.
Let me just do this. So we're going to take another quick break. We're going to take a 30-second break.
Okay.
And when we come back, one of LaLa's favorite people, and the French government are a little bit of in a tit for tat right now. So we'll be back in 30 seconds.
Let's watch The Morning Vibe live on Mondays and Fridays at 9 a.m. Eastern, where Dr. Vibe and Ryan Knight discuss important subjects between themselves or have conversations with people who you need to know about.
You are watching Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa with special guest, Dr. Tachi.
I want to be you when I grow up. You have a lot of friends.
Well,
he didn't even take my class. Come on, Dr. Vibe.
No, I was introduced to them by, LaLa. Her posse. She just strolled in my door. So there you go. All right. And LaLa, I didn't know about this story. So tell us about Elon and the French government.
Um, and I also can add the Spanish government to that now as well, because they have also come out to speak against what Musk has been doing with election interference. What people don't hear in the news, because things get by the mainstream media in America, they throttle things that they don't want you to hear. But in worldwide news, there are many people that are now going after Musk, and he is under investigation by the authorities of France and Spain because of his role of election interference. And part of that is tied into the platform, which is X, formerly known as Twitter. And they feel that he's running it as a personal opinion machine, and it's causing global consequences of what he posts, what he pushes, what is pushing lies, pushing an agenda. He purposely, according to these two governments, says he's reduced content moderation during the election cycles. He included reinstatements of accounts tied to coordinated disinformation campaigns. He makes sure that the algorithmic amplification of false and misleading political narratives are pushed forwards. And he actually has a huge referral to a huge refusal to cooperate with oversight bodies. He runs this as his personal agenda thing, and it's not just the American elections that have been stolen for that. And yes, LaLa said stolen for that. He has a huge hand in these elections because of his power and how he has been able to keep his hand in the pot. Now, Europe's stance is a little bit different from the U.S. For a reason. Europe actually treats large platforms like X as an infrastructure and not hobbies. So if you influence elections, you actually inherit the responsibility of what you have done. And billionaire ownership doesn't override the democratic safeguards that are put into place on national levels, not just the United States. Now, here's how Musk kind of frames things on his platform. He frames censorship very easily, like anything that he doesn't like, he makes sure that it doesn't get pushed out or doesn't get seen at all. He is the one who puts out government lies, especially about things like the South Africans, the white South Africans, making them look like they are much better than what they are, and brings, oh, they need to be brought over to America, those type of things. He chooses one side and he creates chaos from that side. And therefore, the other parties or the other platforms or the other people speaking out are the ones who have to clean up and do the hard work of putting out the truth. When they do, they also do not get the attention or the equal time that he puts out against the rhetoric that he does.
Mhm.
Now, the real issue of this is one individual, Musk. He is controlling a global communication pipeline.
Mhm.
Decisions are basically made on his emotional and public and impulsive feelings. We saw that even when he was under Trump. And when Trump and him were falling out and the bro fight was happening, what did he do? Well, Trump is in the Epstein files. You too, MF. You too. So you want to shoot yourself in the foot to bring someone else down. But that is the power that he has with these platforms. So free speech of what he claims is free speech does not mean that he is free from consequences. And when he is running a global platform, then he has to be held accountable for what he does. Democracy is not a beta test. And whereas America's over here playing games, Europe does not play and take this very seriously. And so they're going to be playing on a different ball game and a different platform on how they're going to take into account his responsibility for what he has done. And if one has come out and now two has come out, I can guarantee you there will be more countries that come out against him. So he's not going to have the protection of Trump in this situation when the global people have pulled him to the red carpet to call him on his tasks.
Dr. Tachi, anything you're wanting to add?
Sure, Europeans take too long to do things about anything.
Yes.
You take entirely too long, which is why people and entities rise and you're like, oh, well, now we have to do something about it. You should have done something in the first place. So if you really are interested in this as seriously as you may take it, ban it for the time being. Say, you know what? There's too much. We're banning it. We'll do a thorough investigation. We will look at this and consider all things. You're even invited to come and talk about this, but nobody's using this in this country. For I don't get it. So Europe then after first of all, you already know I have this love-hate relationship with Europe because you all have never atoned for what you've done to countries of the global South. So that's a whole other thing. So I'm like, if you sink to the bottom of the sea, I probably would not be I probably would not be very sad. But if you're going to do this, then come at it with some vigor. Ban it, or at least heavily restrict it. That's all I have to say. Otherwise,
and to that, Dr. Tachi, I will say that there is, I can't remember right now, please forgive me on this one. I think it is Italy, but I'm not sure. They have announced that they will be creating their own platforms run by the EU on the EU rules to combat X, and X will be throttled.
And you know, but here's the thing. Well, that's very good. Good for you, Italy. But it's the same thing with like what's happening here. Nobody does anything until it comes for your community.
Yeah.
You saw what this degenerate was doing here with it. You thought that it couldn't happen to you, and so nobody does anything. Nobody is preemptive. They all are reactive.
Exactly. And it's always been a case of once the cat has been let out the bag, that cat ain't going back in there. I mean, it's too late. It's the same with absolutely everything that we're seeing with AI, with music, with everything. Once you've let something out the bag, you're not going to be able to get it back in. You can't control it after the fact.
I agree. Dr. Vibe.
Oh boy. The more I know, the less I understand when it comes to the world these days. But LaLa, isn't Europe seen to be is viewed as a little bit more ahead when it comes to digital limitations?
They try to be, but honestly, I really don't. I think they really do try to be.
Okay.
They have limitations. And I don't know, many years ago, now it seems like, time goes so fast. Lord Jesus, seems like last year, there was this huge thing that if you had a website, you had to make sure that if your website dealt on a global manner, you had to go back and make sure you were in compliance. And this is all levels of websites and things like that were in compliance with the EU standards of digital and online material.
Wasn't that under GDPR?
Yes, GDPR.
Okay.
And they try to be, but like I said, once again, it's already out of the bag. You cannot put it back in. But at what point do we? And this is the conundrum that we deal with. At what point can we predict the future?
Yeah.
Honestly, that becomes a problem because you don't know exactly what technology is coming out. So how can you police something that hasn't quite been created yet? I'm not sure how to solve this problem, but I do know that I am at least proud that they're trying to do something, because America damn well sure is not doing it. And it's actually a shame that other countries need to come out and call people accountable for their actions on this type of level.
I think the thing with the US is that it's too money driven. And so all of the things like the net neutrality, or the resistance to net neutrality. Because we allow companies and industries, I should say, to lobby Congress. This is part of the problem, because all of these telecom companies, et cetera, will get up there and lobby against these things, and then we just have a free-for-all. So you're 100% right. I do have to say that Europe tries a lot more than the US to regulate these types of things. But because we are so driven by money and one person shaking the other person's hand and money exchanging hands, this is a reason that we have legislation and things that are not necessarily protective of people, but are protective of industries and their interests.
Mm-hmm. Agree. It's going to be interesting to follow this. It really and truly is, because Europe is also still going through the same thing that America is. And the people don't really realize that there are many countries who are taking, like they have done all through history, the worst of America, and also now incorporating that into their government as well. I'm going to give you a perfect example, because, you know, Portugal is my thing. There is a political party in Portugal called Xinga, and their whole platform is based pretty much on the same level of MAGA. And when you see the posters, matter of fact, there's going to be a vote this weekend, and the fact that Xinga got so close that they're neck and neck with the Socialist Party that is running on the platform. They are so close. I don't think that they'll win. A lot of people are like, but then we said that about Trump. You never know. But they're taking the same gameplay that America is doing and incorporating that into their own country. They are against immigrants. They call them all sorts of things that, you know, the same thing that MAGA does. And it is very disheartening to see. Now, I can personally speak about Portugal because I spend so much time there. So it's very interesting to see this in another country and think to yourself, well, hell, did I just leave America? I mean, I'm seeing the same thing. And that's in many other countries as well. You have to understand that this is bigger than America. And you also have to remember that the Nazi Party came to America and thought that racism was just so vile that that was the worst that they could come back and bring back to the war. So they studied what America has done to Black people and put it into play with World War II. America is not innocent in this. They never have been. They never will be. As a matter of fact, they've been the play game all along. And you are still seeing that today. And the fact that people love to call me stupid, sweetie, I don't think you've ever picked up a book, and you probably don't even have a 5th grade education, because you got to know that history doesn't lie and history is repeating itself.
Okay. All right. I think we'll move on to our final conversation topic.
Sure.
All right. And this one will be definitely up Dr. Tachi's alley. So always
always
got to talk about media when Dr. Tachi's on, because, you know, her foundational show is called Media Scope. So we got to make sure. So we'll be back in just a moment.
The Washington Post just laid off over 300 journalists, about a third of its newsroom, shutting down entire departments like sports, books, and international bureaus. Leadership calls it a strategic reset after years of financial losses and plummeting web traffic, aiming to focus on high-impact national news. But the move has sparked grief and outrage from veteran journalists and staff who warn it could erode the paper's legacy and the quality of news coverage. These cuts aren't just about one newsroom, they reflect a crisis facing journalism everywhere. Now, more than ever, it's vital to stay informed with reliable news sources.
Dr. Tachi, because media is your jam,
Yeah.
we want you to kick it off on this conversation topic.
So 100% to what the video was saying. So for those of you that are not familiar, the Washington Post actually just let go of 1/3 of their staff. They completely cut the sports department, and not that sports was the strong suit of Washington Post anyway. When you live, and I lived in DC for like 9 years. So not only was national news local news for us, but it also, the heavy emphasis on news was politics because it is the seat of government. So that is huge. When you let go of that much of your staff, it does a few things. Number one, it changes how the news is reported. 2, it changes what is reported. And 3, it changes who is reporting this. Now, all of this is a move. Obviously, let's remember who owns the Washington Post. Bezos.
Ah, woo.
Okay. This is a move to placate, basically, because if you change and get rid of the news or get rid of newsmakers, there's nobody to make the news. So this is really an attack on journalism, and it's an attack from inside. The shots came from inside the house. It's sad because there are so many people, so many great journalists that work at the Washington Post in all sorts of areas that now are needing to look for another job. And in journalism and in media, the way it is not so easy to go ahead and like, okay, well, I'll just jump over here. So this is really going to be a case of who you know, where you could get played, but it's not going to be easy in not just the economic situation we're in, but in the media situation we're in, where mainstream media is eroding in importance because digital media and younger audiences are taking more precedent. It's an uphill battle. Now, Gen Z gets most of their news from TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. So we're seeing an importance in social media and digital platforms in terms of where people are getting their news from. There's also a huge trust problem. Mainstream legacy corporate media has an extreme trust problem. It had a trust problem before, but now, because of the administration and who owns what, these recent acquisitions, now you have corporate media that also have more of a visible political agenda, which colors what is reported. So there's a huge trust problem as well. This is why people are turning to independent. So this is really sad. However, I will say this, because you know I am the champion of all things independent. This, for those of you that were laid off, I mean, it's terrible. And it's an attack on journalism, but don't let it be an attack on journalism. All you have to do, and again, I'm not saying this is going to pay the bills, but we all have to get creative in this economy. You need to pull together with a few of your friends. I need to see podcasts. I need to see live streams. I need to see boots on the ground reporting. This is exactly, and you have the wind of a major platform behind you, having worked for a major platform, being a journalist for the Washington Post, which is the same thing that Joy Reid, Don Lemon, Jim Acosta, and some other people that came from mainstream media have. You need to do the same thing. This is on us too. I mean, not me, because I believe in independent, but those of us that, still, I cringe whenever people say, you know what, you would be great on CNN. So you don't like what I do on YouTube? We put these platforms on a pedestal, platforms that most of us will never have access to. And because we deem them important as the only way, we think we've only made it if our stuff is on television or our stuff is heard on a major digital radio station or radio station. We think that, or newspaper, whatever the medium is, we think that that is the only way we've made it. We have to change our thought process. And I'm talking to you, those of you at the Washington Post that have been laid off, change your thought process. Washington Post, that is not New York Times, these major media that are mainstream and corporate, That is not the wave of the future. Start carving your own place in the digital world, and then you can create your job so they can't fire you.
LaLa, anything you're wanting to add?
Well, I know that this is Dr. Tachi's wheelhouse, but basically, in a little nutshell here, what these layoffs actually mean is fewer investigations, fewer courtrooms are going to be covered, fewer watchdogs are going to be tracking corruption, abuse, and policy changes, and more power operating with what is being fed to them to be reported. None of this is good. And if anyone who is a serious journalist doesn't see that, then they don't deserve to be in that arena, because you are supposed to report what you see and do it honestly and allow the people to make their own judgments. And the fact that so many people are being attacked for telling the truth tells you the importance of just how much the journalists who are not within these places really matter, because they're coming after the small fries.
Absolutely. Again, there was no earthly reason to arrest Don Lemon or I'm trying to remember her name, the journalist.
Gold? Faith Gold, was it her name?
No, the journalist from Minneapolis.
That's
yes,
Georgia.
She came out and spoke today, and I can't think of her name.
Georgia, and I'm trying to remember her last name. Georgia, but her first name is Georgia, so Miss Georgia, we'll call her. There's no earthly reason to arrest. If you are not afraid of what is being said, there's no reason to arrest. None at all whatsoever, right? If you are not afraid, talking to Jeff Bezos, right, and people at Washington Post, why are you getting rid of 1/3? And the thing is, they always hide under financial restructuring and rubbish like that, when we know good and well and here's the interesting thing. When Bezos took over or bought the Washington Post in 2013, he appeared to be on the side of journalism. Right. There was a promise that there would be more resources. And again, you think this trillionaire now buying this, lots of people were for it, because for them, it meant there would be more resources pumped into the paper and you would be better able to do these things, right? Oh, how the tables have turned, or have they turned? Because maybe that was never the intent in the first place. Because some of these people that are buying these media outlets are doing so to turn them into political discourse machines.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But that's the plan.
Yeah, it's
always been the plan. It's always been the plan. Everything that we've talked about tonight, everything that we have talked about over the last few years, everything that we have brought to this table has always been the plan. And the outline is Project 2025. Now, it was also called something else before it got to be called Project 2025. They're following the playbook exactly how they planned it. And they have not deviated from this plan.
Absolutely.
What does this, Dr. Tachi, what does this mean for the future of corporate media? Where do you see corporate media in the next 5 years?
Again, there is a trust problem. And in order for corporate media to work, in order for media to work, you have to have an audience. You exist because there is an audience. The audience is not there anymore. The future is Gen Z and Gen Alpha, right? They're looking elsewhere for their news and their information. Now, granted, I believe in independent, but you all out there, I'm telling you to also do your due diligence with independent media. Just because it's independent doesn't mean it's also always truthful. So do your due diligence as well. Check against several sources, look for agreement, and then believe, okay? But even that with a level of trepidation. But the younger generation is not replacing people who used to read the newspaper, used to read magazines, used to watch television shows. We've said this ad nauseum, that currently the more people watch YouTube on their television sets
Mhm.
than watch cable or any other type of content. So corporate mainstream, I'm not going to say it's over, but their importance has lessened. And here's another thing as well. So in terms of subscriptions and viewing time, YouTube is almost tied with Comcast. And
Wow.
yes, and if this continues, the biggest cable system in the country is Spectrum, I believe. If this continues, they are on track to surpass Spectrum. So they're probably going to surpass Comcast. And if they continue this, YouTube is going to surpass Spectrum. So, which is great because we're all YouTubers, but this also opens up something else. What then does YouTube start to do?
Yeah.
It also opens up other questions. And these are things that we should start thinking about.
Very interesting.
It is. Can you see I love it?
And we have a viewer here say, I've been on YouTube for years, especially when COVID hit.
Oh, that's awesome.
But you know, that's really interesting in the fact that we talk about the younger generation, but I can attest to the fact that my mother-in-law, 89 years old, she goes to YouTube first. She doesn't trust the news anymore. What really upset her was the No King's Day, when she was waiting to hear the stories about the No King's Day. And she said, all I got was, today was No King's Day. Yeah, it happened. Okay, next story. And she was like, wait, what? Like, no. So it is definitely not just the younger generation, even the older generation who used to depend on those newsletters, those papers and things of that nature, are also seeing that they are being fed garbage and an agenda as well.
100%. It is also the older generation that now, because of this, can no longer, this goes to the trust problem. So they can no longer trust corporate media, and they're looking for alternatives. And in walks places like YouTube, in walks people that are doing things on social media and that are trustworthy, and you can actually get news and things from there. So yeah, this is the wave of the future. It's not even the future, the now.
It's here already.
The now and the future. And so we need to get on board with. Listen, nobody cares about what I think because I'm chopped liver, apparently. But I've been saying this for years. I have always said this since even the early 2000s. This is what I do. This is what I studied. So my ears to the ground all the time. And you have to be a futurist. You have to see what is coming down the pipe. You really do.
And what I will ask are any quick predictions you have for 2026. What's one prediction you see for 2026, Dr. Tachi?
More independent news media are going to pop up on digital platforms. So whether it's YouTube or whether we start to see, because here's the thing, you also don't own YouTube.
Right.
So people are going to use their contacts to drive traffic to platforms they actually own. So whether it means that they are using Mighty Networks or School, or even you building something on servers themselves via off of their website, we're going to see a lot more of that. So definitely on places like YouTube, but we'll see a lot more of that in other places as well. So that's a prediction that I've been saying. We'll see that the growth of independent news and the growth of, which has already been happening, the continued growth of the citizen journalist, because we all have these.
Minnesota.
Yes, exactly. The reason we know about what we've seen in Minnesota the way we know it is not because of news outlets. They get to the scene of the crime too late. It's citizen journalists who pick up their phone and report and let the videos and pictures speak for themselves.
But more and more, the corporate media is relying on the citizen journal content.
Yeah, and they have been. All you have to do is like, okay, because this is how news works. When you go, when you're at a television station, there is a morning meeting and an afternoon meeting. And this is where they decide what stories they are going to talk about. Now, there are 10 million things that are happening in the city at any one time. It's impossible to cover everything. So they look and deem what is most important and what will probably be the most interesting for viewers. Remember, news broadcasts work off of advertising dollars and ratings. So they determine what will be the most important and the most interesting, and that's what gets put there. So other things get put by the wayside, right? We just don't hear everything. That is exactly how media, corporate media works. So now we have the opportunity to bypass that. We have the opportunity to say, you know what? I don't have to have the same news stories at 5, 6, 7, 9, 11, and 12, because all they do is repeat their news stories.
Repeat.
Lord have mercy. What we can do is pick X amount and spread it out. We can further what we do with news by posting these snippets and things on social media, extend what we do by using social. And here's the thing, I've said for a long time that these corporate news stations I'm like, you're not taking advantage of social media the way you could. Instead of using it to extend as another platform so you can add extra, what they do, some of them, is just recycle what they put on the other. No, that's not what it's for. And that's what lets me know that you're not long for this world, because you're not doing things in a way that extend. You are expendable. None of us have to watch you anymore. Why should we watch you? It already takes me, because look, I'm a cord cutter, so I have an antenna to watch the local channels, which if I ever watch them, why would I struggle to put the antenna to see you if you're just going to regurgitate the same thing you did at 6 o'clock, at 8 o'clock no. Sorry, I rant. But
no, it's all good. It's all good. Someone here says, I'm 69 and I look at YouTube all the time, but there is some that you have to sort out through to find out if they're telling the truth, because there's a lot of fake ones out there and they're just talking crap.
Yes.
And Hans also says it's hard to discern the truth even from independent for me. And Michelle, you're late, but good to have you here.
Can I give a tip in terms of?
Go ahead.
Absolutely. So it is really hard. And I feel for people, because it used to be that you used to be able to trust news that came from an ABC affiliate. You used to be able to trust NBC, CBS, Fox, until they became Fox News. You used to be able to trust those and had trusted personalities, journalists who would report. But you can't do that anymore. I don't trust them as far as I can throw them, because you're owned by them and you work for them. So one thing that you could do, I would say, look for agreement. If you hear something, you can still check mainstream media to see if you see that there. You should see that at least by three different entities. Then check independent media. If you're watching YouTube and you see this as a story or whatever, check to see who else is talking about it and what they're saying. And what I'm saying to do does take time. But if you want to make sure that you actually get the truth, one thing to do is look for agreement. Look for different sources that are saying the same thing. Because if most people are saying the same thing, chances are there is a level of truth to it. So hopefully that's a little bit helpful. And I know it takes time, but that's the way to do it. Also, there are some people who work on sorting through I'm trying to think of people in general, but I know there are people on YouTube who kind of aggregate what everybody is saying, what other people are saying, and present to you. So that's a way to do it as well.
Okay.
Don't forget how important, I think a lot of people still don't understand. And I was actually kind of shocked in the fact that, why do you think that there was so much pressure to get control of TikTok?
Yeah.
What happened once they got control? All of the independent reporters were the first to go and be throttled. there's power in independent reporting, period, or else they wouldn't be going after it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Michelle says the fabulous arrive right on time for them, late for you, darling. And says, thank you. And
Sure.
also says Brian Tyler Cohen is one I follow and feel is legit.
Yes.
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 And Aaron Parent, I love Aaron.
Aaron
I love-
Parent, yes, he's great. He's with Midas Touch.
Yes.
Midas Touch is another place, definitely.
Well,
Mother Jones.
Well, here's interesting though. You see, there's someone not on Midas Touch anymore.
Who's
Who?
left?
Oh, and what was? Oh, he was with the 47 administration. Oh, I forget. Oh, I read this the other day. And now he's
Well,
a
now I
critic.
gotta go figure that out because
What's the guy? Oh, it's gonna bug me now. What was- oh, he was his lawyer. He was his lawyer, and then they went separate ways. Oh, this is gonna bug me because I just read this the other day. Oh my god. Oh my gosh.
He left Midas Touch?
Yes, he was on my. No, they kicked him out. He got fired. Michael Cohen.
oh, Michael Cohen, yeah.
Michael
Yeah.
Cohen. Okay.
J.R. Houston Jack. Yes, Michael Cohen is no longer with Midas Touch. He got booted from
Okay.
Midas Touch. And
This
it
whole
wasn't
thing
on
is
the
so.
nicest of circumstances.
And this is the interesting thing. There's a lot of pressure all over the place because of what's happening. So journalism is definitely under the microscope now. And this is really, it's an attack on First Amendment rights. Everybody who is a constitutionalist, this is an attack on First Amendment rights. We have the right to know.
Yes.
And this is what journalists are doing.
Yes.
And so what makes you better than any other so-called regime if you attack the right to know, which is guaranteed us in the Constitution?
Well, it's interesting. I'm just reading a quick story here. Progressive media company Midas Touch Network announced it was cutting ties with Michael Cohen. This is a few weeks ago, hours after he proclaimed prosecutors, quote, pressured him to mold his testimony to bolster a political witch hunt against President 47. Interesting.
What's not interesting right now, Dr. Vibe? What's not interesting? Everything.
That's true.
Everything.
That's true. That is true. Regina says Michael Cohen deserved to be tossed out. Okay. Good stuff. Ladies, I think that's a wrap. I think that's a wrap. That is fire. Look, as always, I want to thank ladies for taking their time to hang out with us today. Another lackluster conversation, as always, just so boring. Before we go, I'll first want to put up Aisha's Staggers information there. She's on Instagram, Medium. Oh my gosh. Blue Sky, Friendo Media, Substack, all the places you can catch her. And then there's someone called Dr. Tachi.
That's me.
Oh, you know what? And I spelled that wrong. Let me get that corrected. I want to make sure you're represented properly.
Oh, I didn't even see it, but okay.
No, well, I did, and I don't like it. So let me just do that.
Okay.
There we go.
This is where you can find me.
All those billions and billions of different places. IndieSoup Media, Instagram at @DR_TACHI. Dr. Tachi, thank you so much for hanging out with us again.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
And it's time for the key. Hello,
It's
Key.
time for the key. Listen, I made it easy.
You know what? That'd be another good name for a show.
It's time for the key. I love it.
Time for the key. I love that.
I do too. I think that's good. You've given me a couple of good things to think about tonight, Dr. Vibe.
There you go. Go for it.
It's really easy to find me. You can find me on my internet webs of laurakey.net. Then you can get a lot of free things there to help you decide about home ownership, moving abroad, and other fun things. But one thing that I'm actually doing to help also keep myself sane and do a little bit of creativeness is also creating digital products. I have several digital products as well as t-shirts and sweatshirts on my Etsy store. So that is my Etsy store there. And also I am putting together some digital lunch and learns that will be coming up to help you up your game. You don't want to be left behind in this digital world of AI and other things that are going on. So if you need simple tips, maybe just a few lunch and learns will help you do that. And that will be coming next week. And I'll have those information for you there, but you still can go to my website and sign up for that newsletter so that you'll be notified of the classes.
You know what? I like what you said, LaLa. Simple tips.
Simple tips.
Because we're all getting overwhelmed with all these different AI things, aren't we?
Yes. And it can be very overwhelming. And sometimes when you just learn one thing, it helps you to launch yourself into the next thing. Because once you learn something little, you no longer can say, well, I can't learn that. Once you've learned that, you take the next step to learn the next thing.
There you go. Thank you so much. All right. So a few things. We still got some comments here coming in. So let me just do this. Give me a second here, because it's just been one of those shows today. I mean, all over in a good way. Let me just do this. Let me do this. First of all, you can find all about me, Dr. Vibe, and the Dr. Vibe Show at taplink.cc/the DRVIBESHOW.com. Other stuff, because we still have some more comments we got to address. So let me get back. There were so many today. Let's see. Oh, that's so we got Regina there. Well, I think we had said Regina said, yeah, she said that deserved to be tossed out. Another viewer says Cohen got caught in a major lie about 47. Oh, interesting. And then Michelle says, did I miss y'all talking about the big tech boycott to protest ICE led by Scott Galloway? No, we didn't talk about that. And we should talk about it next week. But I have been watching that, and it's going to be very interesting to see how many people respond to that. Scott Galloway is a very interesting individual. Him and Kara Switzer do a very interesting show called The Pivot, which I listen to, which is quite the interesting show. But we did not talk about it. We'll see if we can put it on the docket for next week. All right. That's it. Wow. Whew. I need a break. So this is what we're going to do. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions. Aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourself grace. And if you're not making money, make history. Try to do both. And as always, make it better. God bless. Peace to all. Keep the faith. Walk good. And please give yourself grace. Take care of yourselves in this crazy time. Bye-bye.